Hello, and welcome to the bonus for episode 78, The Morale Core, with Robert B. O'Connor, the author of Jeep Show. This originally aired March 5th, 2025, and here you're going to hear which of Robert's array of colorful characters was his favorite to write, and I discuss how to bring the Jeep Show to life again today. Right? Hear us discuss how my Los Angeles-based variety show, The Trailer Trash Talent Review, could have a Jeep Show crossover. Right? I mean, your morale is boosted already, ain't it? Let's get started. Again. I wanna know more. I wanna know more. I want to know. I wanna know more. I wanna know more. I want
to know. I've been thinking, who could I get that would produce an actual Jeep show?
Me!
Yeah, so
Robert, I do it every month, and this show,
Right.
It's in an RV park. It's literally in a traveling mobile home park, and it's called the Trailer Trash Talent Review. It's easy to turn it into a Jeep show, and I pull people from the trailer park.
Yeah, and we get the reenactors from, there are a lot of World War II reenactors. We get the reenactors. You dress up, the performers in Army unit. It has to be men, or if it's a female, she's dressed as a man. But it's a little variety show, and we film it, and then we send it out, and we sell the whole rights to the thing for a movie. So, anyways, but I've been thinking, I wish I knew somebody that could put together a tribute to the Jeep Show, because nobody knows about it.
I'm so glad that you mentioned it, because in addition to the variety show that I do, and I've been doing this variety show for years, I've been doing various variety shows for years, and it really is with a similar motivation that is at the spirit of the Jeep Show, which is, I think, shows and entertainment are my life. Yeah. But a variety show, like I like to do it, and like it sounds like the Jeep Show is specifically to build community, to get the people who are there to see their own talent and to get excited about showing it, and to get the people who are there to realize that they have a talent that people would want to see, and that it isn't about being the single greatest in the world. It's about the joy that you can bring to this room right now. Right. And it's always, I've had like ugliest dog, contest winners and burlesque dancers. And I had a WWE style wrestling match, and
man, that's entertainment.
I think it's just,
that is entertainment right there.
It is. And I think when I was reading the Jeep Show, I was like, oh my God. I mean, truly. And I've been doing it for so long that I feel like, man, if even in a war zone, I have to be honest, I would probably be like, okay, well, I have a few wigs.
That's your job.
My dog, my dog sings when I play the harmonica. And
we'll start with that. That's the headline. You're the headliner. We just need to get some backup for you.
Oh my God. And then we get the reenactors. Girl, if I can find a mule that can goose step, this thing is done.
I don't know. Yeah, we may have to put that in. You put two guys in a mule suit. I don't know that, In fact, that's what we're going to have to do, because I totally made that up.
That's okay. We'll find something. We'll get some weird animal.
That could be big. I would definitely support that. Related to expenses, and I'd put it on, film it, and put it on my website. And we'd get tons of traffic, I think. Oh my gosh.
Well, we will absolutely have to. Maybe we do it in Minneapolis. Maybe we do it here in Los Angeles.
Yeah. LA has a bigger talent pool, doesn't it?
It does. Minneapolis's talent pool, though, will curl your toes. There's a lot of
good.
There's a lot of great and live theater is particularly great there. But
good.
But right. Okay. But I have to ask you, because I'm absolutely intrigued, and I'm very humbled that I didn't pick up on your favorite character, but now that you said it, I want to guess.
Yeah, come on,
I want
make
to
a
guess
guess.
who it
Make
is.
a guess.
Okay, let me think. Well, I loved the driver. We didn't get to know him as much, but I was very curious. And Jim, I love that Jim kept kind of looking for him. He was an African-American man who drove the Jeep. And there's moments where, he's segregated for meals and they get separated. And Jim is always kind of trying to like find him and keep him close. I thought that was really intriguing.
Yep. Thank you.
Oh, gosh, let me think. His sister, through the letters.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
I loved her.
Norma.
Yeah.
I named Norma for my best friend's mother, who was very kind to me growing up. So, and by the way, a really close friend of mine I went to college with, his mother, Shirley something or other, was one of the first television stars in like the early years of television where everything was live. She was a 16-year-old ventriloquist, and her dummy was called Splinters. So I named Sergeant Splinters after her, and then my friend, I didn't tell him. In fact, I forgot that I did it. And he read the book and he called me. He's like, "This is so heartwarming. You honor my mother and and all that." I was like, "Yeah, I did that."
Yes, I did. Thank you for. And now you're like, and now I know you actually read it.
Yes, good point. Okay, character.
So
come on, minor character.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right. Shoot, I'm trying to think when he's in the watch, when he gets. Oh, I know who. The guy, the New Yorker who won't let him through when he comes, when he's standing at the gate, the guard who's like, so what? So you know a bunch of American words. That doesn't mean you're not a spy. Who gives him?
And he says like, who's Danny Tutwiler? Some obscure Philadelphia Phillies baseball.
It's like, how
and
dare
Jim goes,
you?
I don't know. I know the Pirates. And the guy says, "Oh, those Pirates suck. Keep your hands up." That actually turned out really well. I'm just going to have to break down and tell you.
All right,
there is do you remember Electro, the Westinghouse Moto Man?
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh God, of course. So the scene, there's a bunch of flashbacks in your book to sort of happier
short
times.
Flashbacks, yes.
Short flashbacks where when Jim is working in the entertainment, various jobs and personal life scenarios prior to the war. And was it the World's Fair? Is that where it happened?
World's Fair. 1940, we're at the Westinghouse. The whole theme of the fair was like, the progress of tomorrow. In the Westinghouse exhibit was the electrified kitchen. And they had a stage there and they had a robot. And I mean, this robot looks like an aluminum suitcase with legs. It is the corniest.
No Metropolis.
The corniest looking robot you've ever seen, and it sort of barely worked. I mean, it was a marvel of 1939 technology, but it barely worked. And Jim is subbing in for the regular straight man for Electro, the Westinghouse Moto Man, and that was one of my favorite scenes to write. Was Jim trying to struggle through, and the director is downstage screaming, frustrated instructions at him because he's never done it before. So anyways, no one, I don't know, people must skip ahead on that stuff. I don't know. No one has mentioned Electro, the Westinghouse Moto Man. And by the way,
come on.
He's on YouTube. If you want to see what I'm talking about, he's on YouTube. Yeah. Just enter.
Oh, good.
Electro.
All right, good.
I'll
put it in the show notes.
Yeah,
I'll
Electro
put it in the
with
show
a K.
notes so people can find it. That's
Electro,
great.
the Westinghouse Moto Man.
So here's what I'm wondering: what was the character or the historical moment that you really wanted to put in the book that you didn't for whatever reason? Was there any one or any event?
Yes, there were several. There were several because when you're. For me, research is fun and writing is hard. So I did way too much. Fun. And I did through these flashbacks, which are, at the end of each chapter, there's a brief flashback, and it's literally like a page and a half. They used to be entire detailed chapters before my editor got a hold of my manuscript. And she just said, you cannot do this to your readers. You have to keep the story moving along. But the first flashback, a page and a half, is 11-year-old Jim Tanzer watching a vaudeville show. Well, I went crazy. Vaudeville is so interesting. And I went crazy on that topic and wrote up an entire vaudeville show with real acts that, were really performing in the 1910s and 20s, and threw in all sorts of meaningful, subtext and editorial, and two Jewish, immigrant performers do a minstrel act, where they put on blackface, but their routine is very subversive of the Jim Crow South, and I loved it. But so I obviously I really wanted to put it in, but it was just too much. You can't stop the story and go back to 1927 for 45 pages.
Oh, you're singing my song, man.
Yeah.
Because that is similar with me, as I do way too much research, similar. And I'll have my poor guest who is not always an author of the book, right? So the deal is like, I'm telling you the story for the first time. And I do find myself being like, and then. And I'm finally like, oh, for the love of God, Dawn, stop.
Yeah. Yes. That's essentially what my editor did, but she used a red pen. Oh my! I had an entire. There's a page and a half flashback where little Jim at age 13 is watching a religious tent revival by Billy Sunday, and Billy Sunday was probably the most famous man in America in about 1917, and then continued doing these even after he became a has-been. A full chapter on Billy Sunday and Billy Sunday's life. Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. My editor X'd out the whole damn thing. So that also...
You got to do the unabridged.
If I wasn't exhausted with writing, I'd submit some of these chapters to like literary magazines, and here's a chapter on Billy Sunday doing a revival in 1929. And never mind who this Jim Tanzer is. That's not important.
Yeah. Just please read it. Please, somebody please read it. Otherwise, what was I doing? Yeah.
Right.
Well, are you still writing? Are you working on anything new right now?
Well, the most important thing I'm working on is I'm moving to Minneapolis in 2 weeks, and
that's
so
right.
My life is totally turned upside down. But I have started on the sequel. I am doing research on the sequel, and I swear I'm not going to make the same mistake I did and do 5 years worth of research and 1 year worth of writing. And so I'm working on the sequel, and I'm following. There's a couple of huge things that happened between 1946 and 1953. One was 16 million soldiers left the service, and the United States had to do something with them. So they wisely passed the GI Bill, which helped these soldiers buy homes, but also sent millions of them to college. So my dad, this is personal to me, my dad, who, grew up in a working class Irish Catholic family in Waterbury, Connecticut, served overseas in World War II. By the way, went over to on the Queen Mary troop ship, but he went to Yale on the GI Bill.
Yeah.
Now, he told me he was a fish out of water, but he graduated, and, he was in his class. George H.W. Bush was in his class, and Bill Buckley. So it changed American society. So in the sequel, I'm going to send Jim Tanzer probably to Yale so I can learn more about my dad's experience, but somewhere. I'm going to send him somewhere. And remember, this guy's 32 years old and he's got a family. Yeah. So it's going to be all sorts of complications. And then the Korean War went from 1951 to 53. And he's got to do something that gets him over in the Korean War. And I don't, so I've got some basic ideas, and I've started on the sequel. Thanks for asking.
Of course. Well, I can't wait to read it.
Oh,
I
you're
can't
very
wait.
kind.
I actually just did a recent episode of LILF was about No Kum Suk, who was the North Korean fighter pilot who
Oh, yes, who defected. Yes.
Yeah. So I had recently done a deep dive into the Korean War and another dark chapter in the history of war, and some of those just meat grinders of history.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm working on. I'm in the research phase now.
Well, it's great. I can't wait. Well, listen, Robert, I have had an absolutely fantastic time reading your book, talking with you. And I don't think this is it. I think you and I are going to talk more about Jeep shows and morale and how we can maybe do both.
Right. And remember General Hardshaft, my dummy. And
yes.
With the fact that we need to find some writers, some comedy writers.
We can do that.
Okay.
We can do that. We're rich. We're rich in both of those things.
Well, this has been a complete pleasure and kind of an honor to talk to you and your listeners, and I hope they're entertained. They're as entertained as I have been.
Oh my goodness. Well, me too. We are so grateful. Thanks again.
History, I'd like to follow